Hi, Karate Illuminati, this is Noah, and today I want to talk about a concept that my sensei was very fond of teaching, which he described as a punch is halfway to an elbow, which is halfway to a back fist or a hammer fist or a shuto. And this is something that Multiple Choki discussed as well, and we'll get to that in a minute. The way that my sensei liked to teach it was pretty simple. You're throwing a punch, and then you collapse the arm into an elbow. And you can mix that into a variety of different drills and exercises and techniques and use that to explore all the different options that you have. And as I mentioned, the halfway to an elbow and then halfway to another strike after that, of course you have options to explore that. This is something that Multiple Choki mentioned explicitly in one case, and I believe implied in another. So explicitly, he was having a discussion with Cano G Goro, the founder of Judo, about martial arts, and Kano asked him what he would do if his punch missed the target. And Motobu explained that he would follow up with an elbow off of the same motion. So instead of hitting and hitting, he's talking about, I'm going to hit, but I miss, so I roll into the elbow afterward instead. Now, this is something that appears in a variety of different systems and styles, martial arts. You'll see it in Okinawa Kempo, and you'll see it in Silat, and all sorts of different things. So it's not that unusual of an idea. Now, if we take a look at something that he said about Naihanchi Shodan, and that specifically is this ridge hand elbow sequence, he said that that used to be a punch, not an elbow, and they changed it to an elbow later. That's something that can be a little hard for people to visualize because it looks very much like an elbow, and what would it look like if it was a punch? And people start looking at things like that, which looks a lot more like the beginning of the kata. But if you look at the ways that you can get an elbow to that position, you can throw a punch in there if you sort of change your approach to the elbow. Right? If I set up my elbow up here and then come across, then no, I can't punch on the way to that elbow. But if I slide my arm and then roll up, then I can. So I'm now getting sort of a shovel hook followed by a punch. And on the bag, because I have mostly a vertical surface and not an angled torso shape, it's a little hard to get a good shovel hook visualization, but that is essentially what you're getting here, right? Is this close hook or shovel hook or uppercut, depending on your orientation, and then rolling into the elbow from there. And it's a very subtle thing if you were doing it solo, right? The difference between that and that doesn't look like much. Once you have it in your mind and can visualize it and you can feel the difference, it becomes evident. But I can see for teaching large groups of people and children in school, that's going to be a little bit hard to get across and may not be worth taking the time to do. Of slide this across so you can hit them before you hit them, and you're getting into sort of complex paths of movement then, as opposed to, okay, everybody lift your arm up and elbow across. Perfect.